Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, home to the Asian Oprah. Number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. That's why there's no gossip, no scandal, and no headlines on this show for the past, I didn't change the banner, 719 consecutive weeks, but who's counting? And I have, I know that there's just so many different places to get bad news, because if it bleeds, it leads. And if you are doing this in the morning, MS, meaningless scrolling, or listening to the TV, if you still have one, it is going to give you a case of the 4 A's: angry, aggravated, anxious, and afraid. And I don't want you to have any of those A's. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can feel amazing and happy 88% of the time. They said I wouldn't last a year. 13 and a half years later, I am still here and still going and going and going. Someone called me the other day, a cross between the Energizer Bunny and the Tasmanian Devil. So, and today I'm so excited because I'm bringing you a part 2. I don't always have the ability to bring you repeat. I do have some repeat guests, but this is a very special one because it was literally 10 years ago when I had the idea to have a men's panel on the show. And it was part of my series, which is called Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa. Now, when I was only on once a week, that was a while ago, before I got promoted into the daily weekday morning show, I was, I could do whatever. Well, I still do. I'm the producer. So I wanted a special series to talk about sex, safely, respectfully, pleasure. And I wanted to make it a G-rated topic because we don't talk about it. And when we don't talk about it, it ends up being this, the churches have made pleasure dirty. Sorry. But it's not a good thing to talk about it. And kids learn about sex and all of that through porn or their peers. And neither one of them are really good people to learn from. And so that's why I did it once last week of every month. Now that I'm every day and I'm the number one in the morning, this is not a topic we want to necessarily start the day with, but I have a good excuse. We are coming up on Valentine's Day, as you all know, which for me is V-Day. It sounds like D-Day, or a sad day, Single Awareness Day. And I thought, here's a good excuse to come and bring back, literally, my men's panel. I have 2 of them. You see them on my, they're on my bottom. No, I'm just kidding. They are under me. This is going to be a long show. Clyde Terry, who is on the original men's panel. He is kitty diagonal to me, and I'm going to let him introduce himself in a minute. We have Coach Josh, and I didn't put your lower third up because he was late. Josh Jimenez. He's going to introduce himself too. Coach Josh. I'm going to put OG or original men's panel as well. And then if you could finish the bottom of yourself.
Sure, why not?
That would be
I
good.
thought I was in the studio already.
Yes. Good. And then I am so delighted to have a new volunteer that my talent agent, Pierre, who is also from Canada. Thomas is from Canada. So it was perfect to have him. He's Mr. Model Canada. I'll let him also introduce himself a little more when we get to that. But please welcome today, massive welcome to my men's panel, part 2, to answer the question, what do men want? Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, on the count of 3, point to the person in the panel you would like to have start with the intros. 1, 2, 3. All right, Terry. Clyde Terry got the most fingers. So I'll let you introduce yourself. I use this sometimes when I'm on the carpet. I don't have an answering machine. Now, some of you may not even know what that is, but it's like voicemail. Okay. Millennials and Gen Z use my assistant Google. But I don't have an answering machine. I have a questioning machine. And when you call me, it says, who are you? And what do you want? So I'd like all of you to answer that question, starting with Clyde.
Who am I? I'm Clyde Terry. I'm the father of an amazing 28-year-old young man who's an artist. I am a retired deputy sheriff at Los Angeles County. And I am the founder of a nonprofit working with people coming out of prison called Emerging Leaders. And I'm currently a student at Indiana University going back studying AI. And so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love catching up with my friends too, forcing them on panels. So this is good. All right. Now, who would you like to invite to go next?
Let's go with Thomas.
Sounds good. What's up, guys? I'm Thomas Boguszewicz. I am an up-and-coming actor based out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Aside from that, I'm also a broadcast media studies student at Mount Royal University who's also considering adding a minor in Spanish on top of that in the process.
You got a broadcast voice too, bro. Like
I do? Oh my God.
Yeah.
It'll serve them well in the future. Good. I'm very happy to hear that.
Great. Coach Josh.
Hi, my name is Josh Jimenez. I have several jobs, but the two things I'm passionate about, that I'm ambitious about, are training the youth in basketball, and also as a musician, songwriter, vocalist, producer. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm the father of 2 kids, 2 adult kids, 1 girl, 1 boy, and my son has special needs. So he was a handful growing up, but now he's just all blessings, So yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. My son's on the spectrum as well. He's high functioning autistic.
Okay. Mine's nonverbal, but he's sure saying a lot for being nonverbal these days. In the other room when I hear him say stuff. So yeah. That's awesome.
Oh, that's great. I just love it. What caught, right? What are the chances of that? We've got lots of different connections because there is 0 degrees of separation between all of us. Now, I do this at the beginning of every show, but we're going to do it really quickly because I want to get into the topic. And that is we take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So first thing in the morning, instead of MS, meaningless scrolling and finding things you can be aggravated about, I like to start with, what are you grateful for? That's the top of the button. So just look outside yourself right now. What's one thing that you can be grateful or that you choose to be grateful for? Bottom of the button, because I like it on the bottom. No, I'm kidding. Bottom of the bun is what are you grateful for inside of yourself? So before you go to bed, instead of thinking about, oh, I didn't finish that, or I didn't do that right, or I shouldn't have said that, or who done me wrong, I want you to focus on what is something that you like about yourself. So that's what we'll do. And then we'll get into the topic. So I'll start. I am grateful for coffee in the morning. I just love that first sip of coffee. And let's go backwards. Josh, what are you grateful for?
Okay, wait a minute. So you said something inside of you that you're grateful for?
No, that's second. So
Oh,
first
that's second.
is, yeah. First
Okay.
is, what are you
First
grateful for
is
outside yourself?
Definitely my kids and my basketball students.
Perfect. And then Thomas?
Ooh, I'm grateful for my parents and my cup of coffee as well. Can't go wrong with that.
Awesome. Clyde?
My parents just had their 43rd wedding anniversary yesterday. So I'm grateful that I get to be here with them. I'm in Indiana right now. Grateful that I get to be here with them and to celebrate their 43rd wedding anniversary.
Fantastic. And now we are going to go to the bottom of the bun, which is, what is one thing that you like about yourself? And I do this specifically because I want you to like yourself. I think this is one of the things that, Good Mental Health Foundation is the ability to approve of yourself. And that's not something, especially the younger generation, we're looking for likes literally on social media. Dangerous place to be if you can't really approve of yourself. How the fork do you expect anybody else to? So I do this as weight training for all of my watchers and listeners. We're like 4.6 million impressions on my YouTube TV channel now. So hello, this is a good practice that's going to lead to world peace, because it's peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. So what do I like about myself? I will say I like my ability to play with words. I definitely love playing with, the language, and I got my best compliment. Clyde, Amy Chavez, she said that I'm silly, and I got that from my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith. So I'll take that as the compliment. What do you like about yourself, Clyde?
Wow, there's a few things. Well, I
Just
love
one.
I love my internal drive. Right, that at 63, I'm still driven like I was in my 20s.
Fantastic. And Thomas, what do you like about yourself?
I like my ability to not be able to shy away when I consider something to be difficult.
Beautiful. And Josh?
I like what I call like my inner peace, which I feel like I kind of like achieve like in my mid 30s. And it's just basically being happy with like the choices that I make and the person that I am, like go to sleep without feeling bad, guilty, or shameful about anything, that, trying to do the right thing. So that would be it.
Beautiful. That was an abbreviated breakfast, but thanks for joining us every weekday morning. If you want to start the day in the most positive way, please join me here live. Please subscribe on my YouTube TV channel and give me the finger. Not that one, but this one. And now for the topic of the day. It is, what do men want? Where I have these three good-looking men on camera represent all men. No, I'm kidding. But I did pick men who, have an opinion and have had experience with women. And again, they're not speaking for all men, but there are some similarities in the way men think, just as there are similarities with the way women think. Not all, but there are some things. So I'm going to put the moose on the table, which is my Canadian version of talking about the elephants in the room. And we're going to start with looking at a clip that is from the OG side. And just to wet your whistle on remembering what you said. So here we go. We're going to do the one that was in the promo.
Do you want to have sex? So no, wait, that didn't sound right. I meant like if you're dating, okay, so you meet a girl, right? And you like her and you go on a date. How many dates do you think you should wait before you go in? Zero. Okay. So any woman, like all those, the rules book, right? And the Steve Harvey says 90 days. I think that's what he says, right? I say 3 dates. That's my magic number. Zero. Why zero?
Well, I mean, I say zero because it's all in up to another person's interpretation. Okay, so Steve Harvey says 90 days. Well, that's something that's a number that he just arbitrary number he just pulled out of the sky somewhere, right? So because here's the thing, a lot of things can happen in 90 days, but if you and I have this chemistry and the energy's there right now, I respect myself enough and you respect yourself enough, I would assume. When I say you, I mean in the general sense that a person will respect themselves enough that this is something you want to do. I mean, it's not like you're just some person flying off the handle, like I'm going to just go screw everybody. If the energy's there, it's there, right? So why stop it because of somebody else's rule, right? Now, if you find out later, and like for me, I just come from the thought that why am I going to spend 6 months getting to know your representative, right? Let me tell you who I am up front. You tell me who you are up front. And then if we vibe, we vibe. If we don't, we don't. Right? We could go 90 days and then end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm gonna get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree.
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening.
All right. So that was then. We'll go straight to Josh. Do you feel the same way? 10 years later.
I'm sorry, I got kicked out. But
you remember that. You remember that promo.
Oh,
you remember that.
It was so wild. I came back on Clyde's when we were greeting with Clyde.
Do you remember the question?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I feel the same way now. I feel like I do feel similar. Definitely. Like I haven't changed much,
in 10 years.
But definitely, yes. But definitely, what Clyde said is we're on point with that. Because that's when I came.
Have no number, like now.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was that?
So I think Clyde said. Well, let me go to Clyde.
Okay.
Have you changed your mind about now or no?
I'm probably more locked into that number now, 0 now than I was then. The reason being is because so it's 63. Fortunately, that my body still functions like I'm in my 20s. I have a nice herb regimen, but it's like how many times at some point this thing is not going to work anymore. So I'm going to take advantage of it while it's working. But the other side of that is that whatever your rule is, whatever your individual rule is, like if you say I'm not going to have sex for 6 months, then that's your rule, right? When you bring somebody else into your situation, if they're in alignment with that, then rock with that, right? But I'm not going to go by somebody else's rule and say, hey, we're not going to do this because these rules say this. If we feel like we want to have sex, then we have sex. And then we both have to be responsible for the decisions we make. You can't be like, oh, you manipulated me too. No, you're too old to be manipulated. You already know what you want to do. So if this is what we want to do, then let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Can you turn your volume down just a little? I think it's yours. I have a little bit of feedback in the studio. So if everybody could just turn their volume just down a tiny notch.
How do you turn it down?
Get rid of the squirrel on your device. All right, Thomas. Now, I guess is that you are just a tad younger than 63. Just a tad. How young are you?
I'm going to be 25 in exactly 10 days.
Wow. Well, happy for early birthday. And you are cute, but I'm so sorry. You're too old for me. Just kidding. I do that as part of my stand-up now, and it's just great. The look on the guy's face that I pick on in the audience. Anyways, from your perspective, okay, you heard from your seniors. When you date, I'm assuming you date, okay, and do you have a rule yourself?
I do agree with the sense of feeling it out. For me, it takes a wee bit more time to get to know the person. I want to get to know the person. I want to see if we vibe well. Yeah, once again, if the vibe is right early on, then fair enough. But if in any way, shape, or form it feels forced from one side, then no. But at the same time, too, I don't give it a fixed number in the sense of, yes, it needs to be this set amount of time before taking place. We connect well with people, and if it connects well, it works. If it doesn't, you're going to know that pretty early on too. So while in my personal opinion it does take time, I want to actually get to know you, that doesn't necessarily mean that for everything that a fixed time slot will be the best idea.
Got it. I'm just taking a quick Insta story here. So let's go to the follow-up question, which is, and I don't know if this is true now. I will put the moose on the table and say that women in my ageless generation may feel differently than the younger generation of women today. I don't watch the news as a rule because I don't want to be depressed and I don't want to be pissed off. But it is my sense that that women are freer kind of thing, and things that used to be not okay for us, which is friends with benefits or one night stands or Mr. Right Now, all of those things have become more normalized for many women, right? And women want that instant gratification more so than they did right away in my older, I'm not old, ageless generation. And I don't know if you've seen that in the women that you're dating. I don't know if you date the same age or younger or older or whatever that is. But speak to me about your experience. Have you in the last 10 years, specifically Josh and Clyde, seen some changes in the way women think? Like, are they easier to follow your, zero time before jumping in with all feet and all legs? Wink, wink. But or is it? And then for you, Thomas, it's that. Do you still? You feel differently about a woman that you're attracted to that does go in quickly, pun intended. Do you feel, do you have a label for her? Because that's one of the things that, for women, why the rules were so important is because you want the guy to think that you're marriage material and or long-term material. So you don't want to seem like that, put a ring on it. But at the same time, you want to go with the flow too. So lots of questions there. Sorry. I'm going to let you, let's start with Clyde.
There's a lot to unpack there, but it all comes down to this. So for me, we're probably from the same era, right? So I think it was pretty simple back in my teens, my early 20s, 30s, 40s. It was a lot simpler because people weren't looking to capitalize on your success, your fame, your material things. It was, what do we have in common? How do we vibe? And then you went from there, right? So today, I think it's a little more difficult because people are looking at what you have, your status, because you could have status now and be like a terrible human being, and you're going to get sex because of your status. So I like to go with So I don't think it's any easier now. I think people are more sexualized now, but because of that, there's all the internet influencers, and there's people on that are barely making ends meet, and they're demanding that you take them to a 5-star restaurant, right? So, but that's all social media influence. But when it comes down to it, the human urge to have sex, or even just spending time cuddling or spending that intimate time with somebody, that overrides all that, because you can say all that stuff on social media, but when it really comes time to being with somebody intimately, I think it bypasses all that. And if you have the energy and you have the flow or flavor to be able to make that happen, it's going to happen anyway.
Okay. All right. Good detail for me to think about. Josh?
Yeah. All right. So first part, difference between 10 years ago and now. I think there's definitely a difference. Not as much in the people, but in the game. The game has the whole dating game has just changed. So I feel bad for the like when I'm out at a bar or whatever, and the women who've been in a marriage for like 20 years, and that's all they know, and they come out into the dating game, and they don't realize, they're like, oh, this guy asked for my number, and they think that's the only, some guys are out there, she's the only girl that he asked for a number, and then she's looking at him kissing another girl or something crazy, because I've seen that, and they're shocked, and I'm like, hey, it's crazy out here, so as far as the women though, being more willing, let's say, to go further on the first date or something, I think that has changed as well with the acceptance a little bit. But I think you see a lot of older women, especially, being more upfront and saying, hey, no hookups, this and that. But at the same time, I feel like when I see a dating profile and it says no hookups, that just means no hookups for you, but somebody's getting their hookup, just not you. So if the right guy comes along that they are into, and they have a connection and this and that, first night they might have a hookup. So I kind of don't believe in that. If in a way, like deep down, it's like, but respect to them to trying to be respectful and all that, try to go the right way. And then
yeah. So you do have that distinction between respect and not hook up right away. That was what was the between the lines.
No, for me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I could think of a girlfriend that I had for several years, and we got together on the first night, and we just kept the connection strong and decided to be together. So I don't. Hopefully that answers your question. But then the second part.
Well, you did, and then you did in an interesting, like, I'm reading between the lines, because it does still there is, because I'll be honest, when I'm doing my extreme sport called dating, and I'm doing swiper no swiping, right? I call it dating HD. It's not high definition. It's hope, disappointment. So that's been my dating, right? So when it says, what do you want? And they say casual intimacy with no commitment, all of that, I'm, that's it. I don't want that, right? And like you say, even if they say long-term, no hookups, if the groove is right, if the vibe is right, well, maybe you will hook me up. Right. So Thomas, I'm hoping you're getting an education here.
Oh, I did. Trust me, I am.
I'm so glad I asked Pierre, because I was like, I couldn't get the other two. I couldn't get a hold of the other two for some reason. And so I thought, well, I hope they can not feel like they don't belong, because this is like the OG, right? I wrote 10 years ago, but I really wanted also your perspective as you watch this and are listening in and participating. So what do you think? Thomas.
Well, as to the question you asked me earlier, I think that it all comes down to intentions. Like, say, for instance, if my intention, and I'm the kind of person that I'm going to make my intentions pretty clear. If my intention is to date you, and I'm going to take my time. I'm going to take my sweet time. I want to get to know you. That's the point. That's the name of the game at first. If with that knowledge, she still wants to go in deep right from the get-go, no pun intended, then
It's
that's
the
not-
Canadian thing. wait.
then that's not necessarily my forte, you know? But hey, that's me, right? That's me. Just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean it won't work for the next group of people. That's the way I feel towards it. And once again, it could change in the future too with time. But at this point in time, I want to get to know the person, you know. Dating, even, like, it's not marriage, don't get me wrong, but it's still a serious thing, you know. Still commitment. You still have to know if the person's a right fit for you, right? And if you go from A to Z right from the get-go without actually knowing if it is Z that you even want to get to, then it's going to be difficult.
How hard is it going to be?
Let me add something to something Thomas said. So that's on point. So considering everything that I said, it's going into considering, are we in this to hook up, or are we in this for something more? And I might be with somebody that I may not be sexually attracted to or drawn to right away, but I may eventually grow into that. And there may be people that I may be sexually attracted to, but just in that moment, I may not be sexually driven. And I might be more, it might be like, because for me, sex is far more intellectual than it is physical at this age. Because I've done the Playboy thing. I've traveled the world. I've done all of that. So for me, sex is a lot more intellectual than it is. So I got to be stimulated. There's got to be some kind of mental attraction. So with all that being said, but at the same time, if it's on and popping, the energy is there, we're doing it right now. I mean, you know, anywhere, everywhere, all the time, you know, so, but that's not my intention. I'm not starting out with, I'm going to go out and I'm going out to smash. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Day, right. But if the energy is there, then I'm not going to stop it because somebody gave a 90-day rule.
Oh yeah. I'm 100% on board with that. There's no time slot. It all comes down to when you both are ready at the end of the day. Yeah. And if it feels right, if the connection's there, boom. Once again, no pun intended.
Wham bam. That's an old one. But this is great. The generational divide is not divided at all, as we can hear right now. Josh, I'm trying to put up a story. What's your Instagram handle? I know there's a number.
You could put my last name,
Josh Jimenez.
Yeah, Jimenez, or it's Jimenez. Yeah, but for the spelling, JIM.
Yeah, I got that.
And then Joshua and the number 5.
Oh, 5. That's the one. All right.
Yeah.
So while I do that, we're going to go on a quick break to pause for news, weather, traffic on this station that leaves no listener behind every weekday morning at 8 a.m. drive time, and live on my YouTube TV channel every day at 9 a.m. Pacific time. This is a very special episode. It's the men's panel part 2. Don't go away. We need to take a break for news, weather, traffic, and a word from our sponsor. Chuck Woolery used to say, we'll be back in 2 and 2. I say, peace in, peace out. Don't go away. We will be right back.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pay's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it. Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Home to the Asian Oprah, #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, and of course, my show central, housing 1,560 some podcast shows here live today with a very special 97 men's panel part 2. We're getting ready for Valentine's Day, D-Day, or Sad Day, Single Awareness Day, by looking at what's changed in 10 years, and or if you're a woman and you're wondering what's going on in the minds of those men, which I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do one joke. If there's a man in the woods and there's no one there to hear him, is he still wrong? I couldn't resist. I'm so sorry. Wait. Yeah, there we go. I'm so delighted to have back in studio 2 of my OG men's panel from 10 years ago. It's hard to believe. I think we all look exactly the same, which cameras and filters are great for. Josh Jimenez, who's a musician, youth coach, and father. Clyde Terry, father as well, founder of Emerging Leaders. And then Thomas, and I won't even try to say your last name, fellow Canadian, Mr. Model Canada, and he is an aspiring actor himself. Welcome back to my studio. So here we go. We're going to continue on what men want. We heard a great, things have changed and they haven't changed. I think you're a little rare if and you can tell me if I'm wrong, Clyde and Josh. The average road dog that I'm familiar with in the bars doesn't exactly sound like what Thomas just said, right? About getting to know and the respect. I still think that's one of the differences. Men kind of are built that way. Call me stereotypical, but I think when men are, single-minded in their pursuit of happiness in the bedroom, there's a dog with a bone, puns intended, all the way there. That is still alive and well. Am I wrong? Bars may change. We would do more swiping, but men have that goal, right? Getting to know you is just as much physically as it is mentally, maybe more so than women. Yeah. Go ahead.
I would just, the game for the men in my age group, or let's say after you hit 35, because I know working with herbs and talking to young people, there's people that are in 25 that are 25 because of social media, thinking that you're supposed to have sex for 2 or 3 hours, right? So you have young men now that are taking Viagra and taking, sex drugs, right? So or ED drugs, right? So, and then you have men who are older who can't really perform, right? So the roles may have switched a little bit, where men may be looking more for longevity, where young men are looking to get it in, where older women who have gone by a rule, like, you know, in my age group, that have gone by these rules where you're like ladylike and you do this and you don't do that. And they went by men's rules for so long. And now they're either divorced or they're widowed or whatever. And they're like, you know, I passed up all my great sex years because of rules. And some of them are out there like, hey, I need to get it in. I want to, you know, get my fill in. So some of them are a lot more forward than men when it comes to that. And a lot of them are seeking young men because they think those young men can perform, because the older men in their age groups can't perform. Right. So the roles have reversed in a sense.
Yeah. There's a term, I'm going to look it up now. I used to use it. Whip as a women. I have to go look it up. But also a seasoned woman. I'll never forget an article. It was in the LA Times 15 years ago that talked about older women who'd, you know, had their marriage. Now there's a thing called gray divorce, you know, after 25 years. Joshua, we're talking about women who are first time back into the dating scene. So yeah, some of those stereotypes have definitely changed, right? Where it is the women that want sex maybe more than the man does before. Josh, you were going to say something.
I mean, I think there's definitely a lot of truth to that, but I would bet that the guys are looking for sex more. I mean, in a general sense, just like Clyde said, his son is, you know, high on the spectrum. I think us three guys are kind of high on the spectrum for men, because there's a lot of guys just looking to get it in. So and it's impressive for Thomas, because he's the younger one. You know, me and Clyde have had time to mature and to get our acts together, you know. But Thomas is looking good over there as a young man, you know. He's got his head on straight. But I mean, if I don't drink alcohol, so when I go in the bars, I look at mostly people intoxicated, and I'm not, you know, and I'm kind of an observer, and it's interesting. But I mean, the guys are just desperate for any, you know, they'll buy drinks for girls real quick, and then you got girls, you know, using guys for drinks left and right too. And I'm just there drinking my Coca-Cola, watching, you know. But yeah. I mean, and for me, like I said, I'm older now, and it's not that I'm not looking for that. I think where my journey came is that I'm looking for that with the right person. Or
yeah,
the right
I definitely
people,
have.
right,
Yeah,
know.
I definitely have three of the most self-aware on this panel, and definitely not the average horn dog that I wanted you to validate that they're out there. Like, I also am naturally high, 17 years just celebrated sober. So I don't drink and I don't go to bars, because it's like, unless I want to be entertained by watching people get inebriated and then do stupid stuff. You know, I went on one date where this guy was on his 5th red wine, which he spilled on me. And I'm like, you know what? This is probably not a match, right? But oh shoot, I was going to ask. Oh, I want to get this question out.
Can I add something that real quick though?
Yeah.
It's contextual, because I haven't been to a bar in years. So if I go to a bar, then I'm going to have bar energy. Right. If I go to a social event, I'm going to have social event energy. Whatever it's going to be there is going to be there. But a bar is kind of like, hey, let's go get what we're going to get. But so I think it's all contextual too. So I don't think it's all about going to hook up, not unless you're going to hook up. Right. If you're going to a bar to hook up, then you got I don't want to use the word predator, especially in this day and age, but you got two predators looking for predators. You got women looking for men and men looking for women. So that's contextual. But when you go to a social event, people are still looking. It's just not in that predatory environment.
Well, I mean, times definitely have changed, right? We used to, but before, I don't think bars were necessarily that labeled as predatory. That's where you would go for social to meet people, right? There wasn't apps that you swipe to see who they are. Now you go to a bar and you swipe to see who's nearby, right? Whole new level of dating strategy. But I would say something R-rated right now, but we are on an FCC violation, $20,000. So we're not going there. I can go so far, but I would like Thomas to react to this, because particularly me, and it's all about me. This is my show, but I am not exactly your average wallflower, shy, serving men Asian woman, right? So professional, obviously a little, strong and successful. When you are out and about, all of you, not just Thomas, what is the advice you would give to a woman like me who wants a man who is not intimidated, who can hold their own? I say I want an alpha man, and my friends laugh at me because they're like, "Oh my God, Dr. Marissa, if you got an alpha man, there'd be like war in the bar, like war on the, you really don't." But I don't want I paid dearly in the divorce because I picked a man who didn't like to work. Not going to do that now, but every alpha does seem to bring that, who's going to be talking now kind of thing, or who's better, or what. I don't want that competition. But what's your advice for me in dating? Let's start with Thomas. Oh, I think he's frozen. Okay, Thomas.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
You're thinking. Okay, who wants?
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
I'll go. I would say, so we're talking about the time thing, how soon to have sex and stuff. So
all of it, or what? How should I present myself? Let me.
It's related to that. It's related to that. So like, what I would suggest is, you gotta make the guy, like, something's got to be a little bit out of reach. If you just give everything to a guy, maybe it might work out, but a lot of guys can just be like, all right, cool, don't call you in the morning, whatever, you know what I mean? So I always felt like to especially figure out if the man is the right man for you, and the man that you think is like, you gotta maybe wait to have sex or something. Like, that might definitely be something, because if he really likes you, he will wait. So that's my thing. That's one piece of advice, because a lot of girls, they see a guy, they like him, and I know too, girls will not have sex with a guy because they want him, to take her serious. But I just feel like women don't do enough like background checks on guys. Or like, just figure out, like, does this guy really like me? You know what I mean? And they just like are in this cloud. Oh, we had a great time, blah, 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 this and that. But like, really, like you said, read between the lines. So what I would say is, you really got to figure out who the other person is. And I feel like women don't do that good enough. And then they're just like happy with this guy, or happy, hey, let's get married. I want a husband. Let's get married. And then when they're getting a divorce, and then all this is, oh my gosh, who did I marry? It's like, take more time to figure out. But what I would say is, yeah, I would say, I don't know about, maybe wait to have sex to see if the guy likes you. Okay. Even just a little bit. That would be my little thing.
Wait till the afternoon. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. No, I mean, maybe not all the way, because like I said, I've gone the other way too, but that's one little piece of advice.
Got it. Thank you, Thomas.
I kind of like what Josh said, and it kind of made me think of the concept of finding a common ground, finding mutual interests, finding something that clicks you two, more so other than just attraction. Because I mean, attraction, you're always going to first be attracted to the person. That's the first thing you see. But afterwards, it's the substance, it's what the person carries, it's what's they're about that's going to be a huge driving factor. And if you guys can connect on that level, it's going to go well. You know, if you guys can find ways to be able to do things together that make it so that, you know, you can pass through this life together in a way that's just great. Like I'll give an example. I saw a couple of years ago, I used to take dance classes, and I would always every single week see this one couple go to the group dance classes, and they told me that they've been doing it for 27 years nonstop without a week of missing it. You know, they found something that connected the two, that was, no matter if, you know, things got hard, because it's going to get difficult at times. Every relationship is going to have its highs and lows, ups and downs. But if you find that common ground in which the two of you connect, oh, it's fantastic. But like Josh said as well, it takes time. It takes time. You're not going to, you know, we're not, at least, you know, not every single one of us, maybe we're not all mind readers. We're not going to see a person within 20 minutes and be like, I know you very well. We're going to click just like that. That's rare. That takes a lot of time most of the time. So the biggest thing, like I said, like Josh said, take the time, figure out what it is that clicks you to, that connects you to.
Okay, I'm going to throw two things in there, and then I'm going to let Clyde talk. One is, I've been told, because of who I am, to not tell the date who I am and not talk about what I do, and just be like hide that light until they're hooked, so to speak, and then I can tell them who I am. I can't do that. You know, I am who I am, number one. Two, that initial attraction, I went on 2 dates and I had that, when he kissed me, there was the butterfly. And then third date, I had the horrible ick. And it was just like impossible to come back to that feeling after the ick. So I don't even know why I told you that, but Clyde.
Well, yeah, going back to the initial question you posed. So what advice would I give you? And you'll understand this from our community, right? Is like attracts like, right? So if you present yourself as an alpha, you're probably going to attract the sheep, right? Sheep don't attract sheep, and wolves don't attract wolves, right? So, so if you present yourself as an alpha, you're probably going to find something, because another alpha is probably going to blow you off, because it's like, we're not going to be in a thing measuring contest, right? I'm not going to be in that with you. And if you have and there's a lot of women who pose as alphas who are really betas, right? So you got to really get who you are. And then, I don't want a sheep. I don't want a beta.
Right.
And so you can have, so there's beta and alpha in every one of us, but who do you present as, right? And so if you have a true alpha, that person's going to be an alpha, right? And they're going to stand on business, right? And they're not going to be intimidated by a woman. So I've dated, somebody who's a famous actress. I've, dated somebody in, Playboy lingerie, Playboy women of color. And so I knew who they were coming in, and that didn't matter to me. It's like, that's what you do, right? But who are you as a person? Like, who are you? Because that's all fine on camera, and to the world, you're everything, right? But who are you right now, right? Because I know people who are very powerful on camera, and when they present in person, they're very, you see like the little girl, right?
Right.
And so
is that attractive or not attractive?
But my thing is being your true self. I don't care what your title is. Your title means nothing to me. Because you could be that today and nothing tomorrow, right? And so the thing is am I willing to support you in what you're doing, or are you willing to support me in what I'm doing, right? And then we'll go from there, because at the end of the day, we won't all, look at how fleeting fame is, right? You could say the wrong thing, and all of a sudden, social media can X
turn on you,
right? So the thing is I think, because before the social media rage, I'm glad that I was in the dating world before that, because and I'm from the Midwest, and so people didn't care what kind of car you had, even though I live in LA now, but people didn't care what kind of car you had because everybody worked at General Motors or everybody worked at International Harvester. So everybody had a new car, right? Or they worked at, at Ford or so nobody cared about cars, and you got to know somebody's parents, right? And so like there's people that I dated when I was in high school that still know my parents, right? So it's just a different time. But I would say to you that, look, when you talk about what advice would I give, I would say, one, present yourself and present your true self, right? Because if you come with your representative, like, oh, I'm this, then you're going to get something that's attracted to your representative, not you.
Yeah, because I'll have DMs that say, are you really, or, in the dating app or whatever, are you Doc Balance? Oh my God. Right. And then I automatically unmatch with them because I don't want to be put on that pedestal. Like, I don't want that. At the same time, when they don't know, who I am and they say, so, like, what do you do for a living kind of thing? Then I don't like, what do I've been saying I don't want to give a whole thing. I'll just say, well, if you, use my assistant Google to look up Asian Oprah, you'll get more information than you actually need or want. Is that stop doing that?
I would say, look, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. Period. Okay. Right. Okay. And if you can't handle it, you can't handle it. So you automatically exclude people that shouldn't be in your arena anyway. Right, then from the people who can play in your arena, then you get to pick and choose from them. I would never minimize myself or dumb myself down for somebody because I'm worried about them. If you can't play, then go play somewhere else.
Got it. And we are out of time. So there's enough time for one final word from each one of my fabulous part 2 men's panel people. So I'm going to have to time you. You get like 44 seconds each. Final word. We'll go to Josh.
All right. I want to touch on something you said about when the men has a casual on their bio dating app. So I got tired of just right off the bat initially getting interviewed to be somebody's husband who I don't even know. Like right off the bat, just questions like I'm in an interview. So I changed mine to casual because I just want to go out and like go dancing. And it's like, we don't have to have sex, none of that. Just like, but if there's a connection, then there's a connection. Awesome. You know what I mean? But so I just got tired of the same questions over and over and over. And the women have all the 3 same questions for you. And so just getting those, what do you do for work? Go ahead.
That's it. What do you do for work?
Do you have kids? And do you live on your own? And it's just like, I can't do it after that because it's like, and so I would say for you only really about letting guys know who you are. You only have to look out for guys who are trying to exploit knowing you for your fame or whatever it is, money or whatever. Those are the only guys you have to weed out. But if some guy like might be a good guy, might be generally interested in you and might have heard of you and be like, hey, you're Doc Balance. It's not a bad thing. He might actually be a good guy. He might, because I would do the same thing. Like I would be like, oh my gosh, you're this girl. Like, yeah, let me take you on a date, and
all right,
have good intentions.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thomas.
So I always kind of go back to this statement my brother gave me. In a person, not only find yourself a girlfriend or a boyfriend, but also find a best friend. And I think that's really important in a relationship, that you're not just a romantic partner. You can have those days where you joke around, where you guys have fun together, where you build that bond apart from just being boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. Look for a best friend, look for a relationship with a best friend element in it, and it's going to go a lot further and go a long way, and you'll feel like you're going to know that person a lot more.
Beautiful. Thank you. And finally, last but not least.
So I would say for anybody, be you, do you. Be true to yourself, do you. And if you're true to yourself, you're going to find people that are true to you. If you have to put on a facade, you're probably going to find somebody masquerading as something you don't want. So if it's sex on the first day, sex in the first hour, sex a year from now, then because that's authentically you.
You're one of the only people that can get me to be speechless. Thank you so much, all of you. Put your fingers up, please. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out.
Peace out.
World peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room with Men's Panel Part 2 accomplished. Thank you so much, guys. And now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow.